I'm James Rule. Welcome to the Lonely Leader podcast, where we help existing and aspiring leaders find clarity, build resilience, drive performance, and enhance fulfillment. I often get asked for the rationale behind branding our coaching, training, and mentoring business, The Lonely Leader. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of a snapshot into the thinking behind the origins of that brand. I spent many years operating as a chief executive in the highly intense sports industry, and their leadership, like many sectors, can be quite isolating. It can be quite a lonely existence. But one of the traits I see in leaders, irrespective of sector, is this almost delusion that when they get into a senior leadership position, there's an expectation that they have to have all the answers. And what that tends to lead to is people internalizing pressure. They're fearful about showing any sort of skills gap, so they don't go up to their superiors, to their board of directors, for example, because they don't want to highlight that skills gap. So they don't go up looking for support or to ask the question to gain the answers they need. And indeed, they don't go down into their management team because they're fearful that that will be perceived negatively. They feel that their leadership team will be looking to them and saying, well, you're the leader, you should have all the answers. So consequently, this sort of self-perpetuates, this pressure builds, this isolation, this sense of loneliness. And over a period of time, at best, it'll compromise the individual's performance. And at worst, it can actually start to damage their physical or mental health. So I was very keen with the formation of the Lonely Leader to address that, to explain and to reassure, just because you're in a leadership position, nobody expects you to have all the answers. Quite the contrary. And asking the questions that need to be asked, being in a mindset of continuous growth and wanting to learn and grow is so important as a leader. You use a sporting analogy. There are different players on any given team in football or rugby. They all have specific roles to play. No one person can play all the roles. So how has it come to pass that so many leaders feel they have to be the number one performer in all those areas? A second key driver for the brand was that I see so many leaders from a very noble and honorable position focused almost exclusively on external focus, on their staff, on their stakeholders, shareholders, clients, etc. And in their desire to serve them to the best of their abilities, they create a mindset of, well, I'd love to work on my own growth and development, but it's a luxury rather than a necessity. And particularly when times are hard and cash flow's tighter, to invest in courses, mentors, coaching, etc., can be seen as a spend that they feel almost a sense of guilt around. So again, part of the mantra and the rationale behind the Lonely Leader is to reaffirm that we never stop learning. And it's that old adage of you've got to put your oxygen mask on first before you take care of those around you. And nobody can ever be in a position where they say, that's me done, I know all I need to know. You look at legendary characters such as Warren Buffett. He's famed for still reading several hours a day, seeking to acquire knowledge, insight, and wisdom. And that's a gentleman that's well into his 80s. And the third area was I get frustrated when I come across a number of people that'll say, I'm not a leader. That's not me. And in reality, I believe there's leadership in all of us. Anybody who's a parent, they are leaders. They are leading and helping navigate their children through their childhood and prepare them for adult life. If you have just one follower on social media, you're a leader. If you volunteer in your community, coaching perhaps one of your children's sporting clubs or volunteering in your church, you are leading people. So I'm a passionate advocate that there's leadership inside all of us. And I take a huge amount of pride in helping people unlock that leadership potential. So they were three of the main drivers. One, recognizing that not every leader has every answer and can do every role better than anybody else. Being willing to show some vulnerability and to ask the questions that need to be asked, whether that's up into the chain of command above or down into the management team. Secondly, keeping a keen focus on their own personal growth and development to enhance their performance and their ability to lead. And thirdly, convincing and encouraging everybody that there is leadership inside all of us. So I hope that's been a helpful overview as to where the lonely leader has come to pass. It's certainly not a negative connotation. I'm certainly not advocating that I want leaders to be lonely. Quite the contrary. We're looking to ensure that leadership is a hugely fulfilling and rewarding professional experience, and that the isolation and some of those challenges that we've articulated today are removed, to enjoy it and to progress and to find that fulfillment that I want every leader to have. And remember, leadership on the outside must always start within. Thanks for listening to the Lonely Leader podcast. I'd be very grateful if you could share and follow if the content resonates. And if you're looking for additional free resource to support your continued growth and development, then please do check out our social media and website details in the show notes. Remember, quality leadership on the outside must always start within.